Serena may have unknowingly set the wheels in motion for her own downfall in Emmerdale after a conversation that could expose the secret she's trying to keep. Ever since arriving in the village, the newcomer has attracted suspicion from several residents. Her sudden appearance, combined with her persistent interest in her late cousin John Sugden, has left many questioning her true motives. Friday's episode saw Moira Dingle become increasingly convinced that Serena was hiding something. Serena's latest mistake may have given Moira exactly the reason she needed to dig deeper. The biggest warning sign came when Serena began asking questions about Nate Robinson, John's murder victim. While it might seem understandable for Serena to ask about her cousin, whom she admitted she knew despite years away from the Sugden family, her curiosity about Nate immediately raised eyebrows. She may simply be trying to understand the events surrounding John's crimes, but Moira wasn't convinced. As Serena introduced herself, she steered the conversation towards Nate, leaving Moira both puzzled and uneasy. Sensing that Serena was probing for information, Moira quickly ended the discussion before walking out of the pub. Moira's concerns continue into next week, as she becomes even more certain that Serena cannot be trusted. Determined to get answers, she shares her worries with Robert Sugden about his cousin's suspicious behavior. Meanwhile, Serena keeps her mysterious laptop research hidden from both Robert and Vanessa Woodfield. She also begins questioning them about John, leaving Vanessa unsettled enough to report the conversations to Moira. After learning that Serena has been asking about both John and Nate, Moira decides it's time to act. She informs Robert about everything that has happened and admits she's deeply concerned about what Serena is really looking for. Moira warns Robert that Serena must never discover the truth about John or what ultimately happened to him, as viewers know that Victoria Sugden killed her brother in self-defense. At the same time, Aaron Dingle, Robert's fiancé and Moira's nephew, also starts doubting Serena's intentions. Aaron isn't the only one with concerns. Kev Townsend later reveals a shocking piece of information to Robert, while Chaz Dingle also agrees to keep a close watch on Serena. However, events soon take an unexpected turn when the mother and son uncover something that leaves them stunned. Lewis Barton and Nicola King were horrified when they discovered their cafe had been vandalized and cash had disappeared. Before long, suspicion fell on Kev, despite his repeated insistence that he was innocent. Kev immediately realized someone was trying to frame him, although viewers only learned the full story later in the episode. The robbery had actually been staged by Nicola, who secretly joined forces with Ross Barton in a plan to drive Kev away. The pair convinced themselves they were acting in Lewis's best interests. As Lewis became convinced his father was responsible, and an emotional stave, Kev struggled to clear his name. Nicola and Ross quietly celebrated, knowing they were the real culprits. However, they weren't the only people aware of the truth. Ross made a costly mistake by admitting everything to the last person he should have trusted. Confident their scheme had worked, and believing Kev would soon leave the village, Ross later met up with Mac Boyd and proudly explained how they had set Kev up. Mac listened in disbelief as Ross described the fake robbery and revealed that Lewis had ordered his father to leave. Only days earlier, Mac had shared an emotional conversation with Kev, during which Kev spoke about wanting to repair his relationship with Lewis. Remembering that conversation, Mac found it impossible to believe Kev would ever steal from his son's business or do anything that might destroy their chance of reconciliation. It didn't take long for Mac to realize Ross had orchestrated the entire plot, and he wasted no time confronting him. Mac was clearly appalled by Ross's actions, with his anger fueled by another secret he had recently uncovered. Not long before, Mac discovered that his wife Charity Dingle had slept with Ross months earlier, resulting in her becoming pregnant. Earlier this year, Charity gave birth to baby Layla, while pretending the child belonged to her granddaughter, Sarah Sugden. Charity had agreed to act as Sarah's surrogate, leaving Sarah convinced that the little girl she and Jacob are raising is her biological daughter. only a small handful of people know that Layla is actually the daughter of Charity and Ross. Ross remains unaware that Mac knows the truth, so while he was proudly talking about ruining Kev's future with Lewis, Mac decided it was the perfect opportunity to get even. Mac tracked Kev down before he could leave and urged him to stay, revealing that Ross had confessed to framing him and that Nicola had been involved from the beginning. Kev was left furious after learning the pair had deliberately targeted him in an effort to force him out of the village. Determined to help, Mac encouraged Kev not to give up, assuring him that the truth would eventually come to light. Inspired by Mac's support, Kev chose to remain and continue rebuilding his relationship with Lewis. The recent scenes have unexpectedly paired Mac and Kev together, creating a partnership few viewers would have predicted. It also raises the possibility that a genuine friendship could develop, with Mac standing by Kev in future and perhaps becoming the person who finally exposes Nicola and Ross. After already revealing the truth to Kev, Mac may decide to go one step further by telling Lewis exactly who destroyed the cafe and proving once and for all that his father was completely innocent. Determined to settle the score, Mac tricks Ross into meeting him at the farm, where he plans to confront him over his affair with Charity Dingle. Months earlier, Ross and Charity slept together after a drunken night, resulting in Charity becoming pregnant. At the time, Charity had agreed to act as a surrogate for Sarah and Jacob Sugden, and after baby Layla was born, everyone was led to believe the little girl was Sarah and Jacob's child. In reality, Layla is the biological daughter of Charity and Ross, and Mac has now discovered the truth. Ready to expose what he knows, he decides it's time for Ross to face the consequences. During Monday's episode, Mac convinces Ross that he needs help with work on the farm. Ross is already feeling uneasy after Kev Townsend hinted that people may have uncovered his recent actions. Still unsure of where he stands, Ross asks Mac if everything between them is all right, and Mac hides his true intentions by pretending nothing is wrong. Once they arrive at the farm, however, it quickly becomes obvious that Mac has an ulterior motive, and the confrontation soon spirals out of control. The argument turns physical, with both men ending up on the barn's mezzanine level before the situation takes a dangerous turn. In the heat of the struggle, Mac pushes Ross, sending him crashing over the edge and onto the ground below. The episode ends with Ross seriously injured, leaving viewers uncertain about whether he will survive. Early spoilers reveal only that Mac walks away, leaving Ross where he fell. As for whether Ross dies, fans will have to keep watching to discover the outcome, and whether Mac eventually admits what happened. However, the available spoilers for the rest of the week don't suggest that Ross is being killed off. While soaps often keep major twists under wraps, there are several signs that his story is far from over. None of Ross's family or friends appear to be reacting to news of his death, strongly suggesting that he survives the incident. With no indication that Ross is leaving the village, it appears he will recover and remain part of the drama. Wednesday's episode is expected to reveal the full aftermath of the shocking fall, but all signs point to Ross surviving the ordeal rather than making a permanent exit. Emmerdale airs on weeknights at 8 p.m. on ITV1, with each episode available to stream from 7 a.m. on ITVX and YouTube.